Hey guys, Cool Dude USA here, and the commentary topic for today, well, the gameplay in the background I'm going to start off is a two-man party, 119 kills non-lethal by Fearless X-Ray. It's a good gameplay, and, well, it's just a good gameplay. And the commentary topic for today is actually about the new, I guess you could call it a frontier we have here in the whole world. The whole modern world has a new frontier, and it gives a really gigantic, gives you a gigantic ability to kind of tap into, and I think that it'll be very common kind of to tap into it. See, like many years ago, there was like American Pie where you could not get too much of an education, not do anything of that sort, or get a whole bunch of education, come in and just become a gigantic, multi-billionaire, or whatever, man by, or woman by, just tapping into this new frontier, being a futurist, understanding that, what is happening now is going to be a big thing, and, that was a big thing for a long time. It was kind of America's whole ordeal was, you could come in, you could become rich, you could just come and do it. And of course you had to work hard, the sweat off your brow or whatever they say, but you could do it. And then, not too long ago, that kind of started to disappear. Past the 70s, I'd say, that kind of started to disappear. Maybe even before then, I don't know. But American Pie kind of started to die out. It started to die out. Probably the middle-aged generation, I would say, is one of the last generations to have that. I guess the baby boomer, or maybe a little bit past that. And, people thought that was going to be dead forever. But now there's a new frontier, which is, obviously the internet, computers, technology. We have a new frontier to make such extraordinary amounts of money. It's unseen. It's almost illogical how much money we can actually make. One man can actually make just by inventing something that has almost no real use. I mean, it doesn't even matter what it is, as long as you think there's a great vision for it, as long as you think that there's a great use for it yourself, you can make a lot of money out of it. Social media, obviously there is a gigantic use for it, but there are plenty of things that, people are inventing that don't even have too much of a use that are creating them into multi-millionaires. And the fact of the matter is, if you create something that's actually useful and intrigues so many people, then you can tap into way more money than millions. And it's something that not a lot of people really think about, not a lot of people really look at or realize, is the fact that we have an infinite amount of space to cover with the internet. Instead of, with America or any country or just tapping into new land, it's land or ideas practical for the real world. Now we have, the internet, which is just everything. It's an infinite amount of possibilities, and with people's attention spans being so short, people don't even want to watch more than, a 10-minute video, or else they'll get bored, start yawning. You start to realize that things are constantly changing, things are constantly evolving. If you're a smart enough person to keep up with such things, then I can't imagine a reason why you wouldn't become ultra successful within, this new, I guess, again, I'll call it a frontier. Because when you really look at it, in the 90s there was computer money. You would get money, there was, there were doctors, and then there were computer money. And computer money is just people who started off in the computer business early. People like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, people like, obviously Bill Gates is, I guess, the prime example. People who started off at that time are now, all of them are now billionaires. And the reason is because they created something that will be used forever and ever and ever. And they kept up with it, and they realized the fact that, they're not going to create something for now, they're going to create something for later, something for the future. And, in my opinion, I think that's amazing, and a lot of people don't realize the fact that, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Steve Wozniak are obviously geniuses, but now you don't exactly have to be a genius to tap into something that will be used for later, will be used for forever, or at least become a good base for whatever that is. And when you become a really good base, in fact the most known base, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Kickstart, all those things, they're always being sold for $1 billion plus. always. And the reason for that is because companies like Google, big head companies, they want these things, and that money goes to you and your small team of whoever. And if you're the only one who made it, well, then that's good, because all that billion goes to you, and obviously tax or whatever. But there's so much money to be made, and so many people are so terrified of creating something and putting it out there, and I'm not talking about YouTube. There is obviously a lot of YouTube money to be made, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm literally just talking about invention of websites, invention of anything useful. There's a selfie stick out there that's being bought like crazy, where literally you just put your phone on a stick, you stick it out in front of your face, and it lets you stick your phone out further and take a picture. It's called a selfie stick, and it's like $6, and people are buying it like all over the world. The dude's like a multi-millionaire, and that's the most ingenious invention of all time, the selfie stick. And this guy probably isn't a genius. He's probably just some kind of he just probably was making fun of white girls who's like, they probably need a selfie stick, and then he probably just came up with it. I mean, it's not that crazy to think that things like that come up just from random whatever and turn into multi-million-dollar ideas. And a lot of people, when I do say something like this, they kind of tell me something that's a little frustrating, or something along the lines of, well, you are surrounded by people with money kind of thing, and you guys all have a foundation to build off of. Well, the thing is yes, but at the same time, no, because it doesn't always matter. I mean, of course, it's always best to have something to build off of, and money is always the best foundation, but a lot of people, are just poor college kids or whatever that come up with this stuff. They don't have enough money to, go into, buy their own room or rent out their own room to build something, or what be it. They just build it in their garage, or build it, in their bedroom. It's like, you don't have to be some, loaded guy to invent something. And with that being said, I think anyone could do it. Anyone watching this video could do it and become a loaded, multi-billionaire. I mean, it's not that crazy to think about. Mark Zuckerberg's worth, what, like $7 billion? And I mean, obviously he was a genius previous to this, but he's just another good example of inventing a almost ingenious website can take off to make you worth $7 billion. I mean, it didn't take a genius to make Facebook. It took a genius to make Facebook in the way it was made. But when you really think about it, now that the internet is expanded, everyone uses it. Those crazy laws that were in place that when he did it are no longer in place and stuff. There's nothing for you to really bypass anymore. You can just make it. You have freedom to create. The internet has allowed that now. And, with that, I don't see a reason not to. I don't see a reason for people to not be going. Now, I'm not doing it yet, but of course I would be willing to if I came up with a great idea. Obviously, I don't have any, but if you have a great idea, why not chase it? Why not make it, create it, and put it out there and just see if it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It costs you almost nothing or nothing to put it out there. Literally, maybe just a little bit of your time. I don't understand why people aren't doing this more often. There's so much money to be tapped into with this whole gigantic, huge, infinitely gigantic pool of money, that is just offered to you. I mean, there's no one you're taking it from except for big companies. It's just advertising and stuff. And then, after a while, if you want to sell it, go ahead and sell it and make another $1 or $2 billion off that. I don't understand why you wouldn't. And that's what I wanted to say, because it just kind of does frustrate me. And, if someone, watching this video has some outstanding idea for a piece of technology, pursue it. And that's all I have to say for today, guys. Until next time, goodbye.